Let me read to you a passage from the 6th chapter of St. John's Gospel, verses 52 to 59. It's the Gospel for Friday of the third week in Eastertide. St. John writes, "Then the Jews began to argue sharply among themselves, 'How can this man give us his flesh to eat?' They asked. Jesus said to them, 'I tell you the truth. Unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is real food, and my blood is real drink. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so the one who feeds on me will live because of me. This is the bread that came down from heaven. Your forefathers ate manna and died, but he who feeds on this bread will live forever.' He said this while teaching in the synagogue in Capernaum." That's from John chapter 6 verses 52 to 59. What does it suggest to us? Well, of course, it suggests the Eucharist. You know, the Oxford movement of the third decade of the 19th century of England strove to defend intellectually the dogmatic character of Christianity against a growing liberalism that eschewed revealed dogma as rationally unsustainable. It insisted on the inviolable character of revealed dogma and on the uniqueness of revealed religion. Revealed religion could not be reduced to what might be called natural religion, which is evidenced across the sweep of human history and society. However, this was not to say that the only form of divine revelation was the Judeo-Christian revelation, as recorded in the inspired Old and New Testaments. John Henry Newman firmly taught that there was a universal revelation, which is to say, that the religions of man contained, together with their errors, certain tenets which in one way or another God had been revealing to the peoples. This universal revelation was not authenticated, but its presence could be judged by the yardstick of Judeo-Christian revelation, which was authenticated. From the Christian perspective, this point could be granted in respect to, say, certain teachings of Islam on the one God and on his absolute transcendence. There is no God but the one God of Abraham. I refer to this teaching, perfectly true as far as it goes, as an introduction to our gospel today. There is no other God but the Lord, and he dwells in light inaccessible. He is beyond. But if this is all that is said about God's relationship with man and the world, then it stops far short of the fullness of his revelation. In fact, of itself, it is open to the admission of numerous errors about him. For as it turns out, God is not simply beyond, not simply above, high and utterly other. He is also unbelievably near and at one with us. He is God with us. He chose a people to prepare to make a home with both them and the world. And, breathtaking surprise, God the Son became one of us, so as to be with us as our brother. More still, the God who is our brother bore on his shoulders the sins of each of us and died to set us free from them. He rose, returned to the right hand of his heavenly Father, and by their joint gift of the Spirit, united to the three divine persons, each of us who are baptized. God is thus revealed as a God who loves and serves. He kneels before his friends, as represented in the 12, and washes their feet, going on from there to die for them. But especially amazing is his ongoing gift, which is revealed in our gospel passage today. As we heard, Jesus said to them, "I tell you the truth. Unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is real food, and my blood is real drink. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Let us remember that our Lord's unique words on this are uttered publicly. Were we to have had only the first three Gospels, the synoptics as they are called because of their likeness to one another, we may have thought that it was only in the privacy of the Last Supper that our Lord revealed this stunning gift of the Eucharist. But not so. It was revealed in the full light of day, publicly, in a synagogue, the synagogue of Capernaum, as we heard in the passage from St. John. Our Lord did not even, as we might say, tone it down by explaining that the gift of his flesh as food would be in a sacramental mode. It was the starkest of statements. If they were to live, they must eat his flesh and drink his blood. The one who eats his flesh will be raised up by him at the last day. He's not speaking metaphorically, he insists. My flesh is real food, and my blood is real drink. Nothing like this had ever been said before, let alone publicly, for it to be reported everywhere, and perhaps distorted and used by his enemies. It was a daring and unprecedented announcement, and was in fact a fundamental teaching of the new revelation by Jesus Christ. God, the God of light inaccessible, was pouring himself out for man as their very food. He was not only before them as their brother, but he was becoming much nearer still. He was as their brother and their God, making himself their very sustenance. They were to feed on him, and in this way they would live forever. It is an ultimate revelation of the love of God. God is utter love. How beautiful is our loving God. The Holy Eucharist, coming to us in the life and ministry of the Church, which is the mystical body of Christ, is our principal means of union with the God of all heights. As we heard, whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so the one who feeds on me will live because of me. Together with the doctrines of the triune God and the Incarnation, the doctrine of the Holy Eucharist is the most remarkable religious doctrine in the history of all religions. It is the mystery of our faith, and it is, in the celebration of Holy Mass, the ongoing revelation of the love of God for man.